Hi, everyone. I wanted to go live to talk about a brewing issue that we have had. As you know, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino both promised that they wanted to dismantle the FBI. Kash told us that on day one, he wanted to shut down the Hoover building and open up a museum of the deep state the next day. Dan Bongino's made similar comments. He wants to shut down the FBI. So we were optimistic heading into the second Trump administration that we would see more progress on reforming weaponized government. And for many of us, this is a personal issue because our lives have been personally affected by weaponized government. And by me, I'm speaking as a January 6th defendant, and there are hundreds of other January 6th defendants out there like me who, to us, this is a very personal and significant issue. Like, it needs to be addressed. Like, what we have gone through can never happen again in America. We can't let it happen again. So, we're a little bit, I don't want to say disappointed because that's not quite the right word. We're a little bit upset that Kash and Dan have been promoting some of the worst FBI agents to positions of influence and power within the agency rather than firing them, right? And like there are a few examples of this. The one that has gained the most attention, of course, would be Steve Jensen. He was a prime player in opening up hundreds of January 6 cases, and he hunted down hundreds of Americans, ruined American lives, and had Americans thrown in prison, which devastated American families. A lot of people lost their homes. Marriages ended as a result of it. People lost custody of their children. Financially, hundreds of people are still devastated by it, right? We haven't quite picked up the pieces yet. And not only that, but it took 4 years of our lives, right? So I fought for 4 years. They never got me because I fought like hell to make sure they didn't. But it took 4 years of my life of fighting, and that was a huge opportunity cost. Like, I couldn't just do other things during that period of time. I had no choice. I had to fight the government. I had to keep them. They had their boot on my neck, and I had to keep them from crushing me that entire time. So I didn't have an option. I couldn't go and chase other opportunities. And even now, when I apply for other jobs, I'm getting a lot of rejection letters. I'm getting a lot of, I'm running into problems still due to the fact that they have come after me the way they did in an unprecedented manner, in a way that has never been done in American history before. And they weaponized government against me and many other good American people. So yeah, we're still having trouble picking up the pieces. We're still good Americans, but weaponized government and the lie that they told about us for 4 years is continuing to dominate our lives. So the people who are telling us, just get over it, move on, yeah, we'd like to, but unfortunately, what the FBI did to us is continuing to haunt us in our lives. And even though the legal issues are now in the background, we are facing incredible challenges in our lives as we move forward. And the other issue, like, even if we could move on, like, even if there were no issues pertaining to, getting a job or picking up the pieces, getting the custody of your children back, getting your home back, even if those issues were all ironed out, the other thing is we can't let this happen again, right? We have got to completely eradicate radical government extremism. Like, there can be no weaponization of government left over to torture future generations of Americans. Right? That is my firm position. I'm not anti-government. I've made that clear many, many times. I'm not anti-government, but I am anti-weaponization of government. When I worked for the National Park Service, at the entrance to Yellowstone, we had the Roosevelt Arch, and inscribed in it are the words, "For the benefit and enjoyment of the people." And that comes right from the Antiquities Act, for the benefit and enjoyment of the people. That was our mission. And even though we didn't always accomplish our mission perfectly, as no organization will, like, our priority was to protect the resource for the American people and provide access to the American people and make sure that they have a good time on their vacation, make sure they can enjoy the park. But the FBI, that is not their mission. They have been propagating a culture of invading American lives. Who knows? Maybe they've used FISA warrantless surveillance on you and you don't even know it. Maybe they've pulled your bank records. Maybe they've pulled your social media records and you don't even know it. They have to January 6th defendants. They have to a lot of other people. President Trump felt it personally. And if that is allowed to continue, and again, I'm going under the assumption, which I'm probably right, that Republicans will not hold power forever. Like, if that is allowed to continue, then weaponization will get much worse. And, it's going to come down on a lot of you. So when I say we need to end the weaponization of government, it may never affect me again. Like, who knows? Maybe, another 40 years, I may not be here. But there are future generations of Americans that we need to preserve this country for. And again, like, I have that national park mindset, like, preserve and protect. And I want to preserve America as a whole, preserve our Constitution as a whole, and protect it for the benefit and enjoyment of the people in the future, right? And if you have a weaponized government, if you have a Gestapo-minded government, you cannot have that. And promoting Steve Jensen in the FBI sends the exact wrong message about the direction that you should be headed in. You should be trying to clean up the FBI, and instead you're promoting the man who took weaponization to an extreme. Like, he opened hundreds of cases. Hundreds of Americans spent time in prison because of him. Hundreds of American families were wrecked because of him, and you put him in as the FBI Washington field office director. Probably maybe the number 3 most powerful position in the FBI. I'm not quite sure how they dissect it, but it is quite up there, right? And the Washington field office is probably the most powerful field office in the FBI by far, and you have given it to him, and that is the same field office that came after every January 6th defendant. Now, again, like, people argue, maybe he's showing them the dead bodies. Maybe he's showing them what they need to investigate. And again, I'm not privy to everything going on behind the curtain, right? I acknowledge that. Like, there's a lot I don't know. But I am dead against promoting Jensen into that position, because he hunted people down. You should not be rewarding the worst people, and especially people who were hunting down January 6th defendants. And he testified to Congress that he considered us to be domestic terrorists, right? So I take that personally as well, right? I am not a terrorist. I'm a loyal American, and you should not be treating me like a terrorist. And if you're treating Americans like terrorists, your agency is the problem, all right? I'm not the problem. Your agency is the problem. And you need to change the culture, and you need to get rid of people like Steve Jensen, because our country is facing an existential threat of weaponized government, right? We always point to Nazi Germany, and we laugh about weaponized Nazi Germany, right? Or we look at communist Russia, the Soviet bloc, or communist China, and the invasion on citizen rights in China. But quite frankly, our own government when it goes to extremes, it becomes like them. And if we don't check that, if we let that get out of control, then it becomes an existential threat to American freedom. It becomes an existential threat to our Constitution. And as we found as January 6th defendants, the FBI didn't care about our Constitution in our cases. They did not care about our constitutional rights. To them, the Constitution was an obstacle to them weaponizing government. And they ignored it frequently. Repeatedly, they ignored it. They did not produce evidence they should produce. They disregarded due process rights. They went to extremes. They deprived prisoners of rights that they should have. So yeah, when we say that we're not happy about Steve Jensen, we're not just trying to create like a fake anger on Twitter, like some people are alleging that we are. No, this is not false outrage. We are sincere because we have been going through it for 4 years, and you should not be rewarding Jensen. You should not be promoting him. You should be kicking his butt out of the FBI and probably prosecuting him. So Nance, like this one FBI, this clown, John Nance, right? He is going around running propaganda for Cash and Dan right now, which we don't appreciate. Like, it's one thing to say we need more time and whatever. Like, I would probably be more apt to give you more time had the Trump DOJ and FBI not been opposing my motions after they told me I could have discovery, and had they not been opposing other January 6th defendants on various issues. Like, there's still some cleanup issues that are being filed in court, and we're having to fight the Trump DOJ right now. So, like, that is one factor in me not having a whole lot of faith or patience in what they're doing, right? But, like, the fact that you're promoting people like Steve Jensen makes it that much worse. And we don't believe like he's actually here for a good reason. We have no confidence. And you have people like John Nance running propaganda saying that we are pushing false outrage. That is an insult to every January 6th defendant out there. We have been through 4 years of hell. Like this, there is nothing fake about my outrage, right? There is nothing fake. And quite frankly, like people like John Nance probably should feel the boot on their own throat. Like I would rather no American feel that, but like his perspective is that people who exercise First Amendment rights and get crushed, that's completely okay and they shouldn't be mad about it. But like I guarantee you, like if he exercised First Amendment rights and they called him a terrorist and they brought 30 years of charges against John Nance and threw him in prison, like his outrage would probably not be fake either, right? But him calling our outrage fake is an insult to every January 6th defendant. And we know Cash and Dan have him running like propaganda for him right now, and we don't appreciate that. So on top of the bad promotion, you are also insulting us by having these clowns like Nance put out stuff and calling what we are complaining about to be fake outrage. We are not fake at all. We are wanting to make sure that nobody else will ever have to go through what we went through. And this is not a minor issue, right? Like there are so many issues that get pushed in our news cycle. I was thinking about this earlier today, but there are so many issues where they try to get your attention and they try to get your outrage, right? And ultimately, most of these are minor issues, and I try to ignore them just because you can't be emotionally invested in every issue. And probably if you're taking the party line on every issue, you're not thinking critically, right? You're not actually thinking about it. Other people are manipulating your emotions, and you're just doing what Fox News or whoever is telling you to do, right? So you need to think critically. But this is not a minor issue, right? The weaponization of government is a huge issue, and it is probably the reason Trump won, in my opinion. right? There are other issues. There was inflation. There was Biden just being completely incompetent. And, Afghanistan, that debacle. But quite frankly, the last 4 years have been about the unmitigated weaponization of government, radical government extremism. And people were terrified of it. They didn't like it. Like, I was going through it personally. I was doing like literal combat in court with the government. Like, we were like blow for blow on motions, like month after month after month after month. But Trump, like, they went after him too. They arrested the leading candidate for president. They weaponized government politically, and people didn't like that. And I think that's a major reason that Trump won. And we voted to end that, right? We voted to end that. And out of all the things Trump has done so far, my biggest criticism is he hasn't addressed weaponization of government enough, right? Rather than doge out the FBI, they are bringing on more people. Like, Kash is welcoming in the classes that Biden and Christopher Wray hired, and he's not firing them, right? He could fire everybody on probation. He's not doing that, right? He's wanting to grow the FBI. He's wanting to give it more power, and he is promoting the worst of the worst, like Steve Jensen. And there are other agencies that need reform too. Like, I know DHS has a mission right now to get illegals out of the country, but I think they're not completely innocent on the weaponization of government. I know they played a role in censorship. I think they also have some connections to January 6th that we need to hear about, and DOD as well. Like, DOD had a role, and we need to get to the bottom of that. And hopefully they are, but we haven't seen any visible progress right now. Like, they have taken some agencies like USAID down to the ground, but we haven't seen any progress at the FBI. The only thing that we have actually seen is Dan Bongino and Kash promoting January 6 hunters and then defending them. And up until, recently, like, I thought Dan, I didn't watch his show all the time. I didn't listen to it all the time, but generally he had pretty decent takes. But I'm not seeing the progress at the FBI. And when you tweet out to trust us, trust us, trust us, well, your agency has no credibility. We can't afford to trust you. You are starting at zero credibility, and now you've promoted Steve Jensen, so you're in the basement. Like, you are at negative credibility now. And like, we're not going to wait. Like, we're going to call you out until we actually see concrete evidence. Like, I did a ton of research fighting my own case. I found FBI agents at the Capitol. I know they were there. You had FBI informants there. You haven't given us any of that information yet, right? And if we don't see visible progress, like this wait thing, like, I'm already burnt out on it, but like, I guarantee a lot of people are not going to be happy. Like, if this drags on for another month or two, people are not going to be happy. But for now, you can't be promoting Jensen. Like, I don't care how helpful you might find him. Like, that is an insult to every January 6th defendant. It really is. He ruined the lives of American citizens, and by you promoting him, you are sending the exact wrong message. You're sending the message that you don't want to repair the credibility of the FBI. And again, I'm the type of person, I'm not anti-government. I think government institutions should have the public trust. And if they don't, you have a major issue. You need to repair that. You need to be transparent about what you've done wrong. But we're not seeing it with the FBI. And you don't have the public trust. And you're making it worse by promoting people like that. And really, like, he should not be rewarded at all after what he did. I don't care if, like, he's a newly converted, baptized believer. Like, he should not be at the FBI. Anyway, like, I'm ranting about it, but I've also been ranting on Twitter quite a bit, and I've had other things going, and so I didn't ever like sit down to do a live stream. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit. But as much as my frustrations are out there, I am optimistic about the future for January 6th defendants. I know we have a lot of challenges right now, but we have to keep pushing forward. We are dynamic individuals. We've been made more dynamic by this challenge, and we're going to continue to push forward and impact the world for good, right? And we'll probably all do that in a different way. I do want to thank the Jackson County, Missouri Republican Party. They had a Lincoln Reagan dinner the other night, and they invited Kansas City area January 6th defendants to be there. They wanted to honor us, and they were just a real class act, real professional organization, and they allowed us the opportunity to speak for a prolonged period of time, and we told our stories. Everybody did a great job, and the crowd was all cheers. They were fully supportive. We had a congressman there, front row, watching it. And, you know, things like that are important, and we need to do more of it. We need to tell our story. We need to tell what we've been through, and we need to make sure that Americans know the weaponization of government is not the way. We can't become communist China. We can't become communist Russia. We can't become any oppressive totalitarian nation out there. We have to be the nation of freedom, the beacon of freedom to the world. So I do think there are positives that we have going on. I think most J6ers are out there putting out a good name for everybody, which is great. Again, we're not a monolithic group, and you know, individuals can do whatever they want, but I think most of us are putting out a good representation for the kind of Americans that we are, and I think we're going to continue to influence the world for good in the years ahead. And I don't know how that'll be. Like, I don't even know what my life will be like 5 years from now. Like, I'm trying to finish my PhD right now, trying to do a lot of things, but I do think we need to continue to work for good. And if anyone out there is watching, and if you're like involved with the Republican Party at the local level, at the state level, and you have an opportunity, try to get local J6ers to an event and honor them, recognize them, give them an opportunity to speak. Because not only do we need to tell our stories, but we also need to hear that you support us. Like, as I'm not doing that just to be supported, but like we've been yelled at a lot, right? And we do need to recognize a lot of people who've been crushed because they stood on the front line defending freedom. Literally, the battle in court, we were on the front line trying to protect constitutional rights, and a lot of us got crushed along the way. But ultimately, we have an opportunity now to pass the torch to another generation, right? Like Reagan said, freedom is only a generation away from extinction. And if we don't pass it on, and if we don't convey to our children and our grandchildren that, hey, it is your responsibility to protect it and pass it on, it may not be around forever, right? You can't assume that America will be around forever just because we made it nearly 250 years. Excuse me. We have to be actively involved to make it another 250. Like, every generation has got to make that commitment. And January 6ers are some of the most patriotic people you'll meet. So if you are a part of the Republican Party, if you're in, I don't care what state you're in. Like, if you need help finding one, shoot me a message, and I'll try to find people in your area that you can connect with. But J6ers, do your part and get out there, share your story, and make the world around you better. But on Twitter, like, we're all connected on Twitter, we're going to continue to push back, right? I don't like ranting about issues like this. I would rather be like cheering on Trump 100%, like, hey, you're doing a good job on everything. But, I'm not going to agree on everything. I'm not going to call out a lot of the minor disagreements, right? But I am going to call out the disagreement on Jensen and what I'm seeing out of the FBI and DOJ so far, because it's very disheartening. And not only that, I think it's dangerous, because if you don't use the opportunity you've been given to clean out the FBI and DOJ right now and make sure this won't be weaponized again, at least in the near future, then you've made a big mistake, right? This will be part of Trump's legacy. If he succeeds, then we're going to praise him. If he fails, we'll be like, man, you had an opportunity and you wasted it. You kept a lot of promises, but the big one that we needed you to keep to prolong American freedom, you didn't quite make it. And I really hope and pray that we don't have to do that. But again, this is a crucial issue. Like, I don't really give a crap what is going on over in the desert in the Middle East, right? If they take a pot shot at our ship, not great. But the far bigger issue to me is if our own government is weaponized against the people, right? That cannot be allowed to happen. And that should be the number one priority right now. And there are other big priorities, right? The economy and immigration, a lot of things, right? But weaponization cannot be forgotten. It can't be swept under the rug. And we need the truth of government involvement on January 6th. And the longer you drag this out, the louder the chorus is going to become of people calling out Trump. Like, hey, President Trump, you need to fulfill your promise. You told us you were going to investigate these people. We're waiting, right? And like, in my own mind, having dug into all this, I have so many threads that could be pulled right now easily. Like, there could be easy victories on an investigation. And we're not seeing anything. We're not seeing any action other than the promotion of the people who hunted us down and threw us in prison, the people who weaponized government, the people who who prolonged the culture of weaponization. And yeah, like, I'd rather not be ranting. I'd rather not be ranting on Twitter. I'd rather not be ranting on live video about it. But the ramifications of not speaking up are not good. Like, if we let our country go, you may not get another opportunity. So I'd rather look like an idiot now. I'd rather rant right now. I'd rather tick a lot of people off who would rather me be quiet right now than not say anything and let weaponization continue, and then see 5 years from now or 10 years from now the boots of government on the necks of the people, and there be no more opportunity to correct it. And again, I'm not anti-government. I'm anti-weaponization of government. And we have got to change the culture of these agencies. And if you love America, if you love the Constitution, do your part to protect freedom, to pass it on to another generation, to speak out that we can't keep weaponizing government. Anyway, I appreciate all of you hearing me out tonight. I know I've tweeted quite a bit, and I don't only want to be a guy like sniping on Twitter. I want you to actually hear me, actually see the frustration on my face, hear the frustration in my voice, and know that I'm not the only one. Like that tweet I put out the other day, every single J6er that I have talked to, they are livid. They are livid about the Jensen promotion. It should have never happened. I don't care what the guy is right now. Like, he crushed American lives, and if you're trying to restore the credibility of the FBI, promoting him is the wrong thing to do. So we are livid, and like, our voices are going to continue to grow if you don't get it fixed quick. Anyway, we love America. God bless America. We're going to continue to rant until we see progress, because America is too great to not fight for, right? Anyway, God